There are some journeys that feel like they were meant to happen. Agra was one of them. Even in the rush of time, this short trip gave us more than we ever expected. Stories carved in stone, peace in silence, and history echoing through every doorway. We began our journey with the crown jewel of India, the Taj Mahal, a symbol of eternal love built by Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his beloved Mumtaz. The moment we stepped through the Grand Gate, it felt surreal. The white marble shimmered under the morning sun, so pristine, so poetic, like time itself had stopped to admire it. Every arc whispered a love story, every shadow carried the weight of an empire's sorrow and devotion. But the Taj is not just marble and minarets, it's poetry, frozen in time, a delicate balance of Persian, Islamic, and Indian architecture. It stands as a testament to eternal love, but also to the price of power and the pain of loss. For a moment, we forgot the crowds, the cameras, even time itself. Because when you stand before something this timeless, you realize some love stories really do last forever. Next, we travel to a city frozen in time, Fatehpur Sikri. Built by Akbar the Great, the once abandoned city still holds the heartbeat of Mughal grandeur. Akbar had no heir, and it was here, in the village of Sikri, that he met the Sufi saint Salim Chishti. The saint blessed him, and soon after, Akbar's son Jahangir was born. In honor of that miracle, Akbar built an entire city, Fatehpur Sikri, as a tribute to the saint. As soon as we entered Fatehpur Sikri, we stood beneath something so massive, so commanding, it felt like the sky had been carved into stone. Buland Darwaza, the gate of magnificence. Standing 42 meters high, it is the tallest gateway in the world. Inside, we stepped barefoot into the sacred dargah of Salim Chishti. The cool marble beneath our feet, the scent of rose petals in the air, the rustle of chadors, and quiet prayers. It all felt divine. They say if you tie a thread and wish with a pure heart, the saint listens. We tied ours with silence and left with hope. The next day, we walked into the red sandstone fortress, Agra Fort, a palace, a prison, a stronghold of dreams and defeat. This was where Shah Jahan spent his final days, imprisoned by his own son, gazing at the Taj Mahal from afar. There's a strange melancholy in those walls, like they remember everything, every secret, every war plan, every broken heart. Agra Fort, more than just stone and structure, it's a living, breathing archive of the Mughal dynasty. The intricate jharokas and carved pillars, the blend of Persian and Hindu architectural styles, every detail speaks of a time where this fort was the epicenter of royal power. But amid all its grandeur, there's one corner that tugs at the heart, Musamman Burj, the Jasmine Tower. It was here that Shah Jahan was imprisoned by his own son Aurangzeb, and here, from the marble balcony, he spent his final days gazing at the Taj Mahal where his beloved Mumtaz was buried. So close, yet never close enough. We wandered outside the Sheesh Mahal, where mirrored walls once shimmered under candlelight, and past the Anguri Bagh, the garden of grapes, once scented with saffron, roses, and laughter. These walls have heard everything, from the clash of swords to the giggles of queens, from the footsteps of emperors to the echoes of their loneliness. Tucked within the majestic courtyards of Agra Fort, we came across something that once held the weight of an empire, the Takht-i-Jahangir, the royal throne of Emperor Jahangir, son of Akbar and heir to the Mughal legacy. As we stood within these ancient red walls, we weren't just inside a fort. We were walking through the soul of an empire. Agra Fort holds power in its silence, not the kind that shouts through swords and battles, but the kind that lingers in empty halls, where once emperors dreamed and despaired. It's where Akbar built, Jahangir judged, and Shah Jahan waited. This place teaches you something, that even in the greatest palaces, love can hurt, power can fade, and only stories remain. And as we walked away, with dust on our shoes and silence in our hearts, we didn't just leave a monument behind. We left with something deeper, a memory carved in red sandstone, a feeling we didn't expect, a chapter we'll never forget. Our final stop in Agra took us somewhere unexpected, not to a palace of marble, but to a garden where history rests in peace. We had arrived in Sikandra, the resting place of Emperor Akbar, the man who shaped the very foundations of the Mughal Empire. The first thing we saw, peacocks, graceful, unbothered and regal, wandering freely through the gardens as if they were guardians of this ancient ground. There was something deeply symbolic about it, as if even nature bowed gently at the gates of greatness. Their colors glimmered in the evening light, and for a moment, time stood still. At the center of Sikandra lies a structure both grand and grounded, Akbar's tomb. Unlike the towering white marble of the Taj or the red walls of the fort, this monument stands in earthy sandstone and elegant white marble inlay, modest, harmonious and incredibly balanced, just like the emperor it was built for. Akbar planned this place himself because even in death, he sought inclusiveness, unity, and silence over spectacle. The entrance is lined with verses from the Quran, floral patterns that blur the line between art and devotion, and pathways that lead not just to a tomb, but to philosophy set in stone. Inside, the tomb is quiet, no grand echo, no flashing lights, just soft, solemn silence. As we left Sikandra, the wind rustled through the trees, the peacocks danced in the distance, and the sun dipped low behind the tomb. There was no applause, no noise, just peace. And somehow that felt right, because this wasn't just the end of our trip, it was the perfect closing chapter in a city where love, power, faith, and wisdom all meet and rest together.